Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're going to take a look at the MSI Strike Pro Wireless. This is arguably the best keyboard that MSI have ever made and potentially will ever make. But in today's video we're going to find out whether or not they can actually justify the relatively steep asking price for this particular keyboard. Now, for those of you in the United Kingdom, this has an estimated retail street price of £189. which does seem like an awful lot of change. Over in America, I've just looked on the MSI US site and they have currently got a special offer on where I believe it's $159. So it does seem that our UK people are getting a little bit stiffed, whatever's going on, but potentially this may all be worth it. And obviously with recommended retail prices, generally you find some discounts here, there and everywhere. As always, I will put some affiliated links in the video description if I find any places which have got really good offers on, or I'll just link it to Amazon or something so you can just keep an eye on the prices yourself and see what your local prices are. So anyway, let's take a look at the MSI Strike Pro Wireless. Now this basically is MSI kind of just throwing everything they possibly can into one unit and just hoping and praying that it makes a dent in the actual keyboard economy, which potentially it might do. If you look around at other keyboards of around about a similar sort of price from other manufacturers, very similar specs. MSI one does seem to be very nice, and they have made use of some fantastic key switches in this particular keyboard. So this is using the Kailh Midnight Pro switches, or silent switches they're known as. These are also hot swappable switches. They are 5-pin compatible, and so if you want to, you can potentially swap them out if you want to, if one fails, not that they're likely to, because they have got a 70 million key press actuation. So yeah, they should be fine for the foreseeable. But if you get bored and you don't want to swap out your entire keyboard with hot swappable keyboards, you can replace the key switches. So you might find something which is a little bit more preferable, maybe in a couple of years' time. Potentially you might want to then reinvest in some new switches. That choice is entirely up to you. And it's great that we actually now have a choice. For a long time, MSI have made keyboards which have all been soldered. It's really nice to see them getting into this more kind of DIY market. And also from a practical standpoint, obviously if you're investing a big chunk of money into a keyboard, if for some reason it should fail, which realistically on keyboards, the most likely thing to fail is the key switches or a key switch. So it's really nice and reassuring that you can swap out those switches should you ever need to. Also, the switches come from the factory completely pre-lubricated and have a 45-gram actuation force. This particular one is using a tactile switch, so to get past the tactile bump it's 55 grams of force, so 45 to start it moving, then 55 to actually get past that indent, and it is silent in its travel, which is awesome. Also, they've done a really good job on this in terms of sound deadening and soundproofing. There are multiple layers of foam in here, and also silicon gaskets and all that kind of usual stuff, even down to the switches themselves, which actually have extra sound dampeners actually alongside the shaft in the side, and also that stops the shafts from wobbling as well. So they put a lot of time and effort into this, and they've gone with some very, very high quality switches. If you were to buy the switches on their own, just for making your own DIY keyboard, you would be spending in excess of £60 here in the UK, possibly anything up to 80, I've seen them. So yeah, that's a large chunk of obviously what is contained within this keyboard. It kind of does explain the price a little bit. So let's talk about some other features now, because obviously this is a premium level keyboard. Obviously it supports USB Type-C and has a removable USB Type-C connection, but that isn't all. It also supports 2.4 gigahertz. And also for those of you that like to use Bluetooth, it also has 3 Bluetooth connections available to it as well. So you can possibly synchronize it with maybe your iPad, your PC, a laptop, various different devices. It's actually really easy to switch between them as well. I do get a little bit tired of keyboards with like loads of switches and bits and pieces to go through. This is actually really simple. It's all available at a key press on the top here. So you've got the button on the top there. So that is the 2.4 gigahertz, that one there. You also got the highlighted blue one, which we are currently using, connected to my PC behind. And then also you've got your illumination button there as well. So if you plug in your USB Type-C, it will automatically switch over to USB Type-C mode. So if you're using it wireless and you want to charge it up whilst you're playing a game, because the battery is getting low, you can just plug in a USB Type-C and it will transfer seamlessly across, which is excellent. And conversely, if you disconnect the USB Type-C, it seamlessly goes back to whichever was your last connection. So if you're kind of working away from your desk and then suddenly you have to go off to the office, you can just disconnect your keyboard, take it with you, and it's going to be fine. You'll be able to use it Bluetooth when you get to your office or whatever. Anyway, those are various different permutations. I'm sure some of you will find uses for those somewhere along the line. Now, talking of the wireless, and also we should obviously talk about the battery as well. So this battery in here is a 4200 milliamp hour battery. It takes around about 7 hours to do a completely full charge from completely flat, which realistically for these type of batteries, you don't want to let them go completely flat if you could possibly help it. So realistically, in like an hour or so of gaming, you can just plug it in, it'll be absolutely fine. Also, they do say, I don't know whether this is true or not because I haven't tested it, but you can get up to 1,500 hours of use on the Bluetooth connectivity. Now, they didn't state whether or not that was with illumination on. I'm guessing it isn't, but if you go into the Bluetooth low power mode, the battery potentially could last you up to 1,500 hours, which is mighty impressive. So I think that's a pretty good brief introduction to what is going on here. Let's take a close look and see what the keyboard is like, and also some of the accessories which are included, of which there are many, and also some pretty handy ones. So start off with the keyboard itself. So as you can see, it's in its full RGB glory mode at the moment, and you can see you've got these really nice dye sublimated PBT keycaps. So really good quality, and they've actually got a really nice texture to them as well. They are slightly grippy, and obviously being that they're PBT, they are kind of anti-shine as well, and the legends won't wear off, at least not without an angle grinder, so you should be pretty much fine with that. You also got options for selecting different modes or versions, so got M1, M2, M3 there, so that is the profiles. Also, you can use those as macro keys, should you wish to. Also, there's a little display up here as well, which tells you how you're connected and also if you're charging, etc. Doesn't really show much else other than that, but I think as a visual representation, that's a pretty good shout. Actually, for some people, if you're thinking as well, I kind of like it, but I don't know where I get away with this in the office, don't worry, MSI have got you covered. Press and hold the lighting button for a couple of seconds, and everything turns off, so it goes into a really nice stealthy mode. So maybe you like this for yourself for your desk and you just want to have a stealth mode keyboard of a very high construction quality, then potentially that is going to be great for you. And if you want to turn it back on, just press the button and you can go back in and have all your illuminations on and also your notifications, etc. Also, other thing as well, if you press the lighting button, you can cycle through the various lighting effects which are available or turn them off entirely. It's actually a little bit on the dim side, I've got to be honest with you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the unit off. So we'll go through some of the button features and also do some sound tests. I don't want my PC going mad or stopping the OBS recording or whatever. So yeah, the keyboard layout is excellent. You've got all your function buttons exactly kind of where you want them. Also, you've got a dedicated media section as well. So you've got the roller there, which is a knurled roller, which is actually really, really nice. Much better than the one that's on the GK71 Sonic. And also the Strike, I believe it is, or Strike 600. So yeah, that feels really nice. Also, there's a push button on the side to toggle between the various modes. So that is again, volume up and down, screen zoom and screen brightness. So you can toggle between those. Also, you've got your dedicated media buttons underneath that as well. So you've got your mute button. You've also got your rewind, play, pause and fast forward. Of course, you've got a full-size keyboard layout here with all of the keys, and also this specifically is the UK version, so we do have a full UK layout. They do a US layout as well, and potentially they'll do other languages as well. Obviously that is, well, see what happens. This is officially due for release on August the 5th of 2025, and actually it's been around for what seems like a long time, at least a year. So yeah, I'm glad they're finally getting this out. I'm not sure what the issues were, but I'm actually glad to see it now coming out on the market. So again, nice keyboard layout. The keycaps are excellent. There's virtually no wobble in the keys, the travel, etc. It's all very, very nice. Very nice feel to it. So other features of the keyboard, obviously you've got the RGB lighting should you want to. If we take a look actually on the back, so it gets a bit interesting on the back. So there's various things going on here. So not only have you got the feet, which are multi-adjustable, so you can have the small foot, the larger foot, or completely flat, whichever suits your particular preference, which you may want to adjust those because it does actually come included with a very nice premium feeling wrist rest. So if you want to use a wrist rest, then you can have that on your desk, and yeah, that does feel pretty good. So nice that they've included that should you want to. Again, premium price, you're going to get premium accessories, so that is awesome. On the back, like I said, also you've got some really cool features. So you've got a physical on-off switch in a very logical place, so you can turn the keyboard on or off, and depending on which mode it's in or what is plugged in, if it's turned off and you plug in the USB Type-C, it will charge, and also you can still use it, so you don't have to worry too much about that. If you turn it on, it'll be in the wireless or in the Bluetooth modes, so if you want to use either of those, that's great. Also, when it comes to connectivity, so there's actually a dongle storage area just here. So here is your little Wi-Fi dongle, so that's great. And obviously it's quite a wedge fit in there, so you're not going to accidentally lose it whilst it's in travel, which is fantastic. So that plugs into your PC. Also as well, on the side, you've got the USB Type-C port, and we'll talk about more about that actually, because it's quite an interesting setup. So in the accessories box, you get the kind of usual stuff you'd expect from a premium keyboard. So you get the keycap and key switch puller. You also get an extension adapter, so that converts USB Type-C to USB Type-A. So that would be useful for some people, possibly, if you are putting the dongle maybe on a desk and you want to leave it somewhere so you can get access to it easily. Plug the USB-A into your PC, plug the USB Type-C into the wireless adapter. So that's going to give you a wireless extension. So that's just going to beam the signal towards here. And then of course, if you actually just want to charge your device, you can unplug that and plug that straight into the side. But it doesn't end there, because MSI, wanting to make a premium product, have also got a magnetic adapter. Now this in itself is very cool indeed. So the USB Type-C being on the side isn't necessarily everybody's cup of tea, because obviously you have a wire sticking outward. So what would you do? Well, if you're an MSI, you would make this little adapter. So this is a right angled magnetic adapter. So this is actually pretty cool. So you plug that into the side, and then you can plug in your USB Type-C. So now your keyboard's going straight back, as it kind of should be, but I digress on that. What is more important is the fact that then if you do actually have to quickly skip away and you've got to take the keyboard with you, it's magnetic. So you just disconnect it. This bit is left on your desk, and you can take this with you and go off and do whatever you need to do, or just move it further back. If you're one of those lounge people and you sit down, you've got your keyboard on your lap and you want to use it like that, you can do. And the magnetic bit stays in there, and it's in there really, really well. It isn't wanting to come out. And of course, when you get back to your desk, you can just connect it back up and you're off to the races. So yeah, I think that's very impressive. A nice feature set here. You've got all of the bits and pieces that you could possibly ever want, and some more, lots and lots of flexibility. For me personally, I do like it. It's also got a decent weight to it as well. It's also got the rubber feet, etc. So it's going to stay nice and firmly planted on your desk. But I think what a lot of people are going to be more concerned about is, what's it actually like to use? Now, I've got to say, I've used it a very little bit, because I didn't know when the review was going to go live. So I kind of left it in the box to one side for a little while, and I've been playing around with it recently. Got some cat hairs on it, and it's really nice. It's got a very nice kind of, I don't know, I want to say quality feel to it, but that isn't really the right word. It just feels premium. And the key switches as well, like I said previously, they're not silent, but certainly there's virtually no ping to it at all. The actual indent for the switch, you can just about feel it right at the top there. And actually, when it comes to the key switches themselves, it's 0.4 millimeters to 0.19 millimeter of the actual pre-travel, and the total travel for the key switch is 4 millimeters. So 0.4 to 0.19 until you actually hit that kind of point where it actuates. It's a shame actually they didn't do an option for this for a linear switch. This is a tactile switch, although it sounds like a linear, because you can't hear the bump, but you can slightly feel it. So depending on what your preferences are, obviously, like I said at the very beginning, if you do want to swap out the key switches for something completely different, then it's very easy to do so. And also the flexibility of basically having a light button to cycle through the RGB functions if you don't want to use MSI Center, which I guess people won't want to necessarily, especially if you're on a laptop or something. While you put some more software on there you don't necessarily need. So it's nice to have those features on there and be able to switch through the connectivity modes on the fly. Overall, I think it looks great. One slight downside for some people is going to be the fact that the PBT keycaps are not shine through. Now for me, actually, that is slightly a bit of a problem, because I do play games relatively late at night and I don't have much lighting on, and basically you can't really see what the keys are unless you've got something shining on it. You can see around the keys, but unless you're a touch typist, then you might struggle with certain things. I personally do. A lot of the most premium keyboards on the market have non-shine through keycaps. So again, potentially, if you wanted to, you could possibly swap them out. Bit of an expensive hobby to do that. You're looking at about 30, 40 quid for a set of replacement keycaps. But again, if you love the keyboard, if you love the feel, if you think the price is right for you, then why not invest an extra 30, 40 quid in some replacement keycaps if you wanted to. But I think for a lot of people, they're going to like this just as it is, but the price may be a little bit difficult to swallow. Okay, so let's take a look at the features within MSI Center. So if we go into the gaming gear section, you'll find your Strike Pro wireless will appear as one of your options here. So we can go in and check out some of the settings. So primarily this is going to be for setting up macros, but also for creating other functions and changing settings on the deck itself. So a couple of things we've got. So you've got the battery charge notification there, telling you how much charge the battery currently has. Also got the firmware revision. This was actually updated today, believe it or not. And also we've got things like the scroll wheel settings. So if we take a look at the shortcuts, first of all. So M1, M2 and M3, you can use to either switch profiles, or you can change it so that it will do a macro, or alternatively you can have it set up so it launches an application. So if we take M1 here, we can get it to launch maybe MSI Center, or you can choose your own application. So you just click on those buttons there, you can go through and find something like calculator or whatever you want to do. That's going to be absolutely fine. There's calc.exe. So we click on that, open, and there we go. So M2 is now going to open the calculator. So it's pretty handy because there isn't actually a calculator button on the keyboard. So you can do what you like there. Alternatively, if you make a mistake, just press reset. So that's the shortcuts. Also then you've got the scroll wheel settings. So if you click on the scroll wheel settings, you've got the volume control. You can have it so that it's either defaults to volume control, screen brightness adjustment, or screen zooming. Screen brightness is probably a little bit pointless for a lot of gamers, but certainly for possibly laptop users maybe. But volume control I think is probably the obvious one. And then obviously you can change it there as well. So you've got options for what the button does. That is pretty much it for that section. Also, you've got the keys there for setting macros. If you look at the power section, you've got the option to turn on the low battery notification. So that is a display on your screen. You can choose the opacity. As you can see there, just popping up at the bottom. So if the battery gets to a low level, it will pop up on the screen, showing you that is the case. So that's pretty good. And also you've got the option of the battery percentages. So whatever percent you want it to be, you can just leave that as the defaults should you wish to. Again, if you want to reset back to the factory defaults, just press reset. If you want to save it, click on save. And also there are 3 profiles that you can actually save to. So yeah, that's pretty useful. And also you can name the profiles should you wish to. So maybe one for travel, one for laptop, one for desktop. Again, whatever you want to do, the choice is yours. So that is in the gaming gear section. Also, if we go into features and we'll go into Mystic Light. So in Mystic Light, if we choose the appropriate keyboard, I've actually got my Sonic GK71 connected as well. If we go into the Strike Pro wireless, you can tell which one it is because it will show here. So you can go in and you can choose your lighting styles within MSI Center, or you can set it so they're all synchronized. So all of your MSI devices, if you've got motherboard, graphics card, DRAM, etc., you can synchronize it so they all look the same. You've got options also to turn the LED off. You've got the overlap feature, steady, breath, color cycle, wave, which is kind of like the default one, dance, radar, whirlpool, horizon, ripple, and reactive. Also there's a customization one, so you can do your own specific sections. You can create your own lighting effects if you wish to. I'm going to leave it set to wave. And with the wave, you've got the color settings as well, so you can set it to either the rainbow puke, or you can choose 2 specific colors if you wish to. Also, you can change the light speeds, the brightness, and also the direction of the LEDs. So yeah, pretty fully featured there. Not really much more you could ask for. Just a little bit of a shame that for some people you'll need to install the MSI Center software, even if you're not using other MSI components. Of course, like we've said previously, you can also use the LED button on the keyboard to manually go through some of those settings, but you won't be able to do the per key lighting section, such as the customized one. So that's it for MSI Center and also the Gaming Center. let's head back to the review. So again, like I said, this, yeah, it feels great. The keys themselves, all the stabilisers are pre-lubed as well. The key switches are pre-lubed. It's very premium feeling. It just, yeah, it just feels very, very nice. It's one of those things where I would probably say your best bet with a keyboard is go to a store, try it for yourself. If you don't have a store nearby, head over to Amazon. They do a 30-day returns policy for anything shipped by Amazon. So just place an order, get it home, try it, give it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, see if it's right for you. If not, just send it back. That is the beauty of shopping with Amazon. And of course, we will put some Amazon affiliated links in the video description. If you do want to check it out for yourself, again, it's nice with Amazon that you can try before you buy, so to speak. So you pay for it, try it. If it ain't right, just send it back. Generally no quibbles as long as you send everything back with it. So yeah, I think they've done a cracking job with this. My only thing I'm slightly worried about is the potential high price and also the keycaps for me. But otherwise, other than that, this is effectively the perfect keyboard. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments section below. Be very interested to hear what your thoughts are on this. Like I said, I've had this sticking around here since roughly March this year, and the video is going to be going out in August. So it's been a long time coming, so I'm glad to finally get it out and hopefully find out what you lot think about it. Anyway, I think that's going to pretty much wrap this video up. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, smash that like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and also that chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.